Melanie Cantor, welcome to the Great Big Book Club. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for welcoming me and inviting me. Yeah.
Um, so we're here to talk about your new book, Death and Other Happy Endings, although now it is Life and Other Happy Endings. So what happened?
So last year when it came out in hardback, it was called Death and Other Happy Endings. And, it was a challenging title anyway, but I liked the fact that it made people think, oh, that's interesting. Of course, now it's not very pandemic friendly. So they didn't like the death word. And because it is about life, and because, spoiler alert, she does get to live, it's now Life and Other Happy Endings, and it makes sense anyway. It does make sense. Originally I was like, well, I really like that title, but I kind of get it now. It was a struggle at first, and I think it has been confusing for people, but just think life. I think that's what we all have to do now. Just think life. Choose life.
Yes, did choose life, but I think it was that a big decision? Was it a bit of a hoo-ha, or was it? Did you
To
dig
be
your
honest,
heels in?
it never even occurred to me, and then when it was suggested to me, I was like, really? Because actually in America they're keeping the original title, so I thought, well, that is going to be confusing. But the response has been really positive. So I think it was the right decision. I'm kind of the sort of person, it's like, listen, these guys know what they're doing. I'm not, I'm a writer, but I'm not in publishing. I don't know how it works from that perspective. They have to sell the book in. So yeah, I'm going to go along with it. And yes, I do think it was the right decision ultimately. So,
Excellent. Well, could you give us a little blast of it, just before we get chatting?
okay. So I'll give you a little blast of the beginning. So, which is literally how it all begins. There are some people in this world to whom things happen. I am not one of them. I lead an ordinary life. I do regular things. That's not to say my life is boring, but it's not a life full of big, you won't believe what happened to me stories either. Until now, when this happened. Honestly, it really did. Are you with anyone, Jennifer? I smile apologetically. No, still single. Shuffle in seat. I hate this sort of question. I go out on occasional dates, Dr. Mackenzie. It's just I'm not very good with this internet stuff. Besides, I've never known my left from my right. I chuckle awkwardly, then catch the look on his face. You don't mean that, do you? No, he said, scratching his chin. Are you here with anyone today? I'm thrown by this. For a moment, I thought he was about to tell me I had an STD, which, under the aforementioned circumstances, would give substance to my fear of public conveniences. Why, I say, should I be? It would have been helpful. I asked the receptionist to suggest it. I think she did. I thought she was mad. He takes off his steel-rimmed glasses and presses his palms against his eyes. I'm so sorry, Jennifer. It's not good news. You have a rare blood disorder. He looks grim-faced. I've never seen this expression before. The room starts to throb disconcertingly. My ears throb. Everything throbs. I try focusing on the doctor's face as he pinches the bridge of his throbbing nose, rubbing his pulsating spider-vein flesh. He casts me a furtive glance as if he's checking my response, then mutters some unintelligible name. I only catch the osis at the end. What is that? This apparently warrants a biology lesson, a long and complicated lecture about platelets and white blood cells versus red blood cells. I've never been good with that stuff, least of all while the world is pulsating around me. That doesn't sound very friendly, I say. No, he mumbles, very unfriendly and aggressive. He fiddles with some papers, tapping them into neat alignment. He clears his throat. Untreatable. Ooh.
Wow. So this is the story of Jennifer Cole, who's 43 and gets diagnosed with her rare blood disorder. And instead of getting a little tiny bikini and going to Thailand or wherever, she does something completely different.
She does. She decides that she doesn't want to die with regret. So she decides to write letters to the three significant people in her life who she's felt let down by or hurt by, and finally tell them what she really feels. All the things that she's kept to herself over the years, she puts into a letter, an individual letter to the three. And it's about kind of, it's nothing vengeful. It's just about putting a truth out there. And then, of course, as we discover 3 months later, she's still out there. So it's then the unraveling of that truth and how you deal with that. And it's a complicated roller coaster ride. But it was really, I think the thing that was interesting for me was thinking, because obviously this is my starting point, what if you were given 3 months to live? What would you do? And Jennifer decides to write the letters, but also there are a lot of other things that she does that are out of character that kind of happened as I took her on the journey or went on the journey with her. And that's the exciting thing. All those things that if you're a well-behaved woman, which she was a well-behaved child, a well-behaved woman, everything was good about her. And then suddenly she's free to run riot, and she kind of does.
Are you referring to some episodes on Hampstead Heath?
I think I am. I say it kind of quite confidently because I've had so many comments on it. People saying, I wander around Hampstead Heath now just wondering which tree. Is there a man out there that, this could happen to me too? So yes, I mean, I think we can just come out and say it, can't we, that she does have sex on Hampstead Heath, which is completely out of character, out of all of our characters. So, but then how brilliant to feel free enough to just go for it. And that's what, I mean, it almost, as I was writing it, it was almost like, I think, yes, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And it was lovely. It was really nice and liberating for me too.
That's hilarious. So she chooses 3 letters that she writes, doesn't she?
Yes.
One goes to her elder sister, the other one to her ex-husband.
Yes.
And the other one to her ex-lover.
Yes.
So what I do have a sister, and because I know you don't, do you?
No.
And I found that relationship with the elder sister, because I am the older sister, very, very interesting. And you're very good on the whole idea of parental labeling.
Yes. I mean, that was, yes, that kind of, it came about because, Jennifer is lovely, and you can't have a book full of just lovely people. And Isabel was the spoiled one, the beautiful one, as you said, labeled by the parents. She's the pretty one. Jennifer was the clever one, as if each individual label was a compliment, but without realizing what it did to each child. And so sort of deconstructing that setup and working out how it impacted on both of them in different ways was very interesting. And I enjoyed. I didn't want it to be a brother. I mean, I didn't want it to be about my life. It was about Jennifer's life, and so I had a lot of fun with this terrible sister who's actually ultimately, very funny. No self-perception, but we get there in the end. And I think it's a very entertaining relationship. So did you feel that you saw yourself in anything to do with Isabel, or which way did you kind of feel from when you were reading it?
Oh, well, we were all labelled. I mean, I think all parents label their children. I've tried very hard not to do it with mine, but I was the selfish one. Which is probably true. No, it's not. But my younger sister was very much the pretty one, and so that resonated a lot with me. That part of the book.
Yes, because you're obviously very pretty, and that's the whole point. Is that why do we take on board these labels, and how difficult, how kind of destructive they are, really. And I don't think, I mean, particularly, I think we're much more aware now of all those things. But back in the 60s, parents would just say things. I remember my mother I was at my aunt's. I have no idea why I was standing there in my kind of, in my knickers and vest. I was about 8 years old. And my aunt said to my mother, "Oh, she's got a very skinny body." And my mother said, "Yes, but she's well covered on her arms and legs." And that's true, but that stayed with me forever. that I'm well covered on my arms and legs. It's a killer.
It's very funny. Their parents are brutal like that. It's very, very funny.
Brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So what was your this is your first novel, obviously. So
Yeah.
how did you go about it? What was your inciting incident? How did you come across the plot? Tell me.
Okay, so first of all, it's my first published novel because I have written 4 really previous manuscripts, which all got rejected. But, you know, that's part of the process, isn't it? And it's an important part of the process because it makes you realize how determined you are, because there are a lot of people who will fall by the wayside. But those of us who remain determined, hopefully eventually hit on the one that gets picked up. And yes, this was my one, and it took 10 years ish to get there. And very strangely, it was inspired by an event that happened to me. I had a relationship with a guy that ended. So he was 14 years younger than me, and that ended like 5 years ago. And the point about saying that he was 14 years younger, because I wasn't particularly, that was nothing that particularly impacted on us as a relationship. It was more other people's observations. Oh, you know, oh, well done you. Anyhow, but the point is, he had the youth to carry on, and I, by the time the relationship ended, I guess I was 56. Yeah, 56. Anyhow, so that's 56 is an awkward age to start dating again. And to give you an idea, I haven't. It's just so, but that's a whole other thing. But anyway, the point is that we were together for 5 years, and he was very lovely, and he gave up his job as a lawyer and he became a Reiki master. Hence that moment he became a Reiki master. And so in a way, although I didn't fund him, it was never a question of he lived with me most part of the time, and therefore he was in my life. He totally inhabited my life. He didn't have much life to bring to it, because he became this Reiki master, and he only ever did Reiki on himself. I mean, that was just kind of 5 years of that. And of course, as soon as we split up, he went out and got the major job. I've been encouraging for you know, you should get a job. You can do Reiki. Can't you do Reiki and be a light? No, I'm a spiritual man. You know, no, I'm a spiritual man. And then blow me down, when he needed to, he got that job, and he got a very, very good job. Anyway, no regrets. But so, and you know, at the time we were in touch, but the point is, the way he dealt with telling me about this job was so dismissive of me. It was literally, I'm phoning to tell you I've got the job, la 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 la, I'm getting a mega salary, la la, brilliant, bye, you know, thanks very much, bye. Not, I know our relationship has ended, Melanie, but let me take you out for dinner, let me thank you. There was none of that. And so I literally felt like I'd been taken for a complete patsy for 5 years. It's like, really? You've just forgotten everything, how I supported you during blah blah. So ultimately, I mean, it took kind of 4 months to regain contact, and we agreed to meet. And then I thought to myself, do you know what, I don't want to meet him. I don't want to see his little smug face. But I wrote to him. I wanted him to know what I thought. I wanted him to know everything that I knew by this stage. So I wrote him that letter.
Wow.
And it was a very, very cathartic, empowering thing to do. And it didn't come to me immediately. A year later, I thought, that whole what if question. What if you were given 3 months to live? What letters would you write? And that inspired this book, obviously. So thank you.
Finally,
you may have a fantastic job and no regrets. Everything leads to something. Then nothing is wasted, is it? Nothing's ever wasted.
Well, that's amazing. What a brilliant story. Amazing. But you have done a very amazing thing, and you were head of a PR company for 26 years. And this is like a second career for you, isn't it?
Yeah, this is absolutely. So I was a publicist and agent for TV personalities. And I did that for just, nearly 30 years, maybe more. I'm not counting them anymore. But then I decided I wanted to write. And originally, you know, I had been given guidance by an agent, you know, write about celebrity, write about that's what you know. But ultimately, what I know is people, you know, and so it doesn't matter whether they're celebrities or otherwise. We all go through emotional turmoil because we're all human. And I wanted to write about emotional turmoil and emotional growth. And that's really, and even with the second novel that I'm writing now, it's about that. I love kind of putting people in difficult situations and seeing how they work their way through it.
And did you, well, you went on the Faber writing course, didn't you, with Joanna Briscoe as your...
Yes, I did several writing courses, but yes, the
Did
one
you?
that
Oh,
I
sorry.
would say the one that changed my life was the one with Joanna Briscoe, definitely.
Right. Who's coming on next week, actually?
Good, I love
Right,
her.
yeah. She's in heaven. I just wondered whether these courses were any good, and why you decided that had you always wanted to be a writer, and the PR was company was just something that you fell into on your way to becoming a writer, or do you know what I mean? It's sort of...
Yes, I do. I think the thing is, I'd always wanted to be a writer, but never thought I could or should or would be a writer. You know, it was nothing that was ever told to me at school. Oh, you write really good stories, you could be a writer. It was never that. It was like, oh, you're good at English, oh, you're good at French, you could be an English or a French teacher, or you could be a translator. It was very kind of linear, you know, it was just like, so it had never occurred to me, but I always used to write stories or kind of columns that never got, you know, printed, whatever. And I had always wanted to write. And I suppose when I reached the moment of working as an agent where I thought I've done my bit now, I kind of feel that I've done as much as I can and I'm not enjoying it quite so much anymore. It occurred to me, maybe I could write. Maybe I would take that chance now. Um, and I didn't necessarily think about going on courses, but they were the best thing that I could do because, you know, I do think you think of yourself as an articulate, kind of averagely intelligent person who's going to be able to sit there and write, and it will all that things up there will come out on the screen, and they don't. It's like, but it's so good in there, but it's just not working on the page. How does that happen? And I really thought I would be a literary writer, and I'm not. I mean, I am a commercial writer. I write page turners, and you know that's how I like to write. I like to think. I mean, I hope they are intelligent page turners, so they do challenge you. But it's not fancy writing. You know, it's just kind of very straightforward writing.
It's
But
gripping, good writing, just so you
thank
know.
you, thank you. So, but you know, you need to understand how to put plot together, how to develop, how the construction, all that kind of thing. Things like that need to be learned. How to trust your reader. I mean, I would say the same things 3 times for emphasis. And you see that you see that novice kind of style where we all make the same mistakes. So I did several courses and I don't regret a single one of them. Some I learned more than others, but the big thing for me was I always came away having met some brilliant people. So, you know, you find your tribe. It's just amazing from all over the world. And writers are very supportive of one another. And you need people around you who can cry with you when you get rejected and understand it and just or be impressed about the fact that you're still going even though you're being rejected because they've given up. All those things that I have absolutely loved the journey. It's been incredible. And I'm so glad I never gave up.
Well, congratulations. Are you doing another one now then, you
Yes,
said?
yes, I was very lucky. I got a 2-book deal. So book number 2, which and it's very hard working in a pandemic. I mean, now, you know, you kind of feel at the beginning, oh, I've got all the time. There's nothing else I can do. I will sit at my laptop and I will write. And then your brain is frozen. It's like, but I'm kind of getting my mojo back now. But anyway, so yes, I am writing Happy Families and Other Filthy Lies. So,
What a brilliant title.
thank you. Let's hope it's a brilliant book.
I'm sure it will be. And when will that be out now?
June 2021.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So at the moment, Life and Other Happy Endings is out now, and it's published by Transworld.
It's Black Swan,
Excellent.
and it's the paperback version. And I'm very proud to say it's in Tesco's and Sainsbury's as well as all the usual suspects. So that's quite exciting.
Oh,
It's very reassuring to know that you've been picked up by supermarkets. I think writers out there will understand the significance of that. So for me, it was quite a coup.
well, Melanie Cantor, thank you for joining us, and thank you for talking about your fantastic book, and good luck. And I hope it flies this summer.
Well, thank you, Imogen. It's lovely to see you.